Missed an episode of your favorite podcast? Choose from over a decade of content in our archives, not just the latest episode. All free at gcnlive.com.
This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Informative radio, educational radio. Interact now by emailing instructor@USAPrepares.com or text at 434-390-7953. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli.
Watch the greenbacks tumble.
Everyone all set? Cocked? Locked? Here we go. Your dial set correctly to USAPrepares.com. And we're broadcasting 2 hours from high atop the Missouri Ozark Mountains. So link to all of your instructors on the website. And for those of you new to the class, there are about 200 of us here at USAPrepares.com. And all of us are innovators. We're medical doctors and dentists and engineers and surgeons and CEOs and broadcasters and farmers and researchers and physicists and authors. And the common thread, none of us is capable of holding down a job. I'm delighted to introduce your newest instructor, Dennis Schuelke. He's an author. He wrote a book. It's called Attorneys Above the Law. And it's about his journey through the legal system trying to defend his position. He was scammed. He was taken advantage of. He was manipulated by the system. And he's outraged, as he should be. Let me tell you a really quick story. I was at an event, and there was an attorney speaking at this event. As a matter of fact, I invited this attorney to speak at this event. He's a real famous guy. And to paraphrase, he said, look, if you end up in jail, don't have your wife call me at home unless you have a lot of money. And just before he said that, he said, praise the Lord, I'm a Christian man, I'm a Christian. And in the words of Steve Angle, where are all the Christians? Where are they? These guys who profess to be Christians. And does that sound like a Christian guy to you? If you're in trouble, don't call unless you have a lot of money. Dennis Schuelke, welcome.
Good morning. One more sad story after another. They never end, do they, Vincent?
No, they don't. And, I was listening to this guy and he first opened up, the presentation with, how he's a Christian, how he's a good guy and how he's in the community and how he goes to church and all that stuff. And I'll tell you, the more I hear someone say, oh, he's a good Christian, first thing I do is grab my wallet, make sure I still have it and make sure it's secure. I'm serious. I'm really serious. When someone says they're a Christian, I don't need to hear that. I really don't. I would much prefer not hearing anything, and then I'd be less on guard. Your story about trying to work with the legal system, the way it's currently evolved, is horrible, absolutely horrible. Dennis, you wrote this book, Attorneys Above the Law. Can you just start out with why you wrote this book?
Absolutely. When you go through what I did over 11-year span, and you go into a new venture with a set of ideals and understanding, you think how the system works based on all the understandings that you have from our society, and you have an expectation of justice. You have an expectation, yes, of justice. And what is justice? Definition of justice is rendering to every man his due. Well, I was screwed, and I went to use the legal system to expose it and to pursue justice. And what I got was anything but. And I'm going, look, I was busy at the time, working at the time, doing, like it says on the back of the book, living the American dream. working and trying to save money and move on. And when something happens, you contact, those that you think are responsible for ensuring justice. But what happened to me over 11 years, I said, look, I just can't move forward without documenting this in a book to verify the current status and state of our judicial system. We have 3 branches of government, right? Or at least we're supposed to: executive, legislative, and judicial. Judicial is supposed to be responsible for the uniform administration of justice and applying laws, but it doesn't happen. And I'm going, I think Americans have been duped so bad for so long, and have been watching too much TV. And the Judge Judy and Judge Alex shows, those kinds of things, they are so deceived. But that is what the attorney and lawyer class is good at, is deception. So I had to write this book and say, look, folks, these are the latest standards, the mentalities, the ideas, the concepts of how the lawyers, attorneys, the courts, the arbitrators, Supreme Courts, and all of them, how they circumvent justice. So people can understand when I say, why do we trust any members of the lawyer class in public elected official positions? If things aren't bad enough in the nation, why aren't people stopping to take a look at the root problem, Vincent? The root problem, and I really thank you for the opportunity to come on again today. I've been on many talk shows all over the United States. It's a pleasure to keep hitting the very same principle. Let's get at the root, people. If we can't trust the lawyer class to represent us and have a uniform application or administration of the laws, then why do people foolishly vote them into public elected official positions in office?
I absolutely agree with you. Our position is never, to start with, never re-elect anyone and then never elect an attorney. Dennis, I had a company back in Virginia many years ago, a couple decades ago. And an attorney walked in and he wanted us to build a network for his business. He never really said what he was at first. He walked in and he was kind of well dressed and he said, I'd like to have a network for the business. I heard you guys do a good job at it. And so I asked him a few questions about the type of what he wanted to do with his computer equipment, how he wanted to operate, and what kind of databases and so forth. And I asked him, okay, so what actually is your business? And he said, well, I have a law firm. I'm an attorney. And I said, oh, well, we have a policy, a corporate policy, and we don't sell computers to attorneys. And he looked at me.
It's kind of funny.
He looked at me like, you're kidding, right? And I said, no, actually, I'm not kidding. No. And he's like, why? And I said, well, attorneys are people who have a natural ability to argue, and then they go to school and they learn how to enhance that. And I said, I think that you probably wouldn't be happy no matter what we did. So if we build it, you might not be happy. And then, that causes problems for everybody. So we want you to be happy. And by the way, Sears sells computers. And back then, Sears did sell computers. So I told him, go to Sears. And, Sears didn't build networks at that time. But, actually, I told him no. There are actually 3 companies or 3 groups who I didn't sell computers to. And, I guess we were prejudiced. One of them was attorneys. Another one was very wealthy people, like billionaires. And, those were 2 of the largest groups that we wouldn't sell to. Another was politicians, like Marion Barry. He was the mayor of Washington, D.C. He wanted to buy a whole bunch of computers from us. He ordered them, and I wouldn't sell them to him. He's the guy that ended up in prison. Marion Barry.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So those are 3 groups we didn't sell to, but we didn't like selling anything to lawyers because literally they argue. Correct me if I'm wrong. Do you think that's what they do? Do you think they look for fault? Do you think they try to find fault and not pay their bills? They're skimmers.
That's a whole other side of it when you look at it from that standpoint or perspective of doing business with them alone, Vincent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, they're skimmers. I can tell you another story. I have a relative who went to school with William Jefferson Blythe Clinton. You know, the guy who used to hang out at the 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue address in Washington, D.C. And we had a terrible situation. Someone crashed into my father, head-on collision. He fell asleep at the wheel, crashed head-on into my father, did a lot of damage. I mean, put my father in the hospital for intensive surgical trauma, intensive care for months. It was really a terrible situation. And so I called my relative and I said, hey, we're going to need an attorney because the Farm Bureau will not pay the hospital bills, even though we're insured by these guys. They won't pay the hospital bills until we figure out who's at fault. And the guy who fell asleep at the wheel says, well, he died. And his insurance company said, prove that our guy was at fault. And by the way, we don't insure dead people. So I called my cousin. And he said, all right, I'll get you 3 names of attorneys, and you can call them up and pick one. So I called him up, and one of the guys came over to our house, and we interviewed him. And I said, okay, so how do you want to work this? And he said, well, contingency. And I said, okay, what percentage? He said, 40%. 40. He said a different way, 40%. And I said, are you kidding? Have you lost your mind? 40%? He said, well, yeah, your cousin wants 15. I want 25. I'm thinking, my cousin? My cousin wants 15% just for giving me this guy's name? And they said, well, your cousin's going to follow the case. So 40%, I said, forget it. So here we have, it's a relative. I haven't spoken to him since. Literally. I haven't spoken, and I don't want to. No reason to. So that's the attorney class you're talking about, right?
So how many people that are listening to this broadcast or this recording, how many people really think that there's something wrong with what you just said? I think that's part of the problem, really, Vincent, is many people think that that's acceptable.
Really?
Because the attorney, yeah, I do. Because obviously a lot of people are going out and continuing to hire these people, and they're still somewhat gainfully employed as lawyers and attorneys. Somebody's
Dennis,
doing it.
I got to tell you, we have a tremendous faculty, and some people call us and say, yeah, I'd love to talk with one of our faculty members, and I'll arrange that. I'll talk to the faculty member and say, is this something that you would you help this person? And I never say, oh, by the way, listen, I'm in the middle here. I'm a skimmer. You owe me money. And it doesn't even occur to me. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration systems and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
Did you know that drinking pure, high alkaline water is one of the most important factors in maintaining high energy and vibrant health? Most experts agree that the water you drink should be at a pH level of 8 or higher. AlkaVision Plasma pH drops, available only at alkavision.com, combine a unique formula of only the most alkaline minerals. AlkaVision Plasma pH drops alkalize your water, body of harmful toxins, and helps you regain health and energy. Alkalizing your water by simply adding 10 drops of AlkaVision Plasma pH drops helps the body rid itself of acidic waste, increases oxygen content, and raises the pH of your body to healthy levels. And bacteria and viruses cannot survive in an alkaline high pH environment. Order your bottle of AlkaVision Plasma pH drops for only $29.95 at alkavision.com. That's ALKAvision.com. Or call 269-409-1776. 269-409-1776. Alkalize your body. Supercharge your health at alkavision.com today.
I'm Vincent Finelli of USAPrepares.com. As most of you know, I broadcast weekday mornings on GCN from 9 to 11. And I'm also a full-time farmer. Add to that mix the weekly meetups and the Get Prepared Expo, and this combination makes for a demanding schedule. On the farm, we raise grass-fed Black Angus cattle and provide them with the best variety of summer and fall grasses available. Our cattle are exposed to the extremes of weather, the toxins in the air, and the electromagnetic radiation that's all around us. So even the best grasses and food that we provide are not enough. Our cattle require minerals and supplements for strong health and resistance to disease. And so do we. For these reasons, my mother, our children, Mrs. Finelli, and I all take Longevity Beyond Tangy Tangerine, De-Stress, Glucogel, and EFA Plus. USAPreparesTeam.com. And thank you for being in class today.
It's very easy to be a criminal. All you need to burglarize a home is one simple household tool, a pair of scissors. If your home security system can be compromised by a criminal using scissors, then you're making it easy for them. Almost every home security system, even those sold by big-name companies, has a weakness: the phone line. You shell out $1,500, get locked into a long-term contract, and think you're safe. But a burglar can destroy your alarm in seconds with one snip. And when a burglar cuts your phone line, you're defenseless. Simply Safe Home Security is the smarter choice. Built by Harvard engineers, Simply Safe uses a wireless connection to call the cops. Scissors can't cut it, and that means your home stays safe. 24/7 professional monitoring is under $15 a month with no contract. Simply Safe Home Security keeps you safer than the other guys for half the cost. Protect your home with the alarm you can trust. Simply Safe. Go to simplysafedefense.com now for an exclusive 10% offer. That's simplysafedefense.com.
We're back, and I just lost audio. I don't know if, okay, I'm live. Okay, good. Dennis Schuelke's with us, attorneys above the law, and we're talking about the system, how it's been corrupted by individuals. And Dennis has been put in a terrible position. It's cost him a lot of money. Well, should he have known better? Well, we all should. But it's a full-time job. It's a full-time job learning what we need to learn in order to deal with the legal system. And that's used against us. But that's no excuse. And we're all in this position. And that's no excuse for these people who we hire to help us, to take advantage of us. And I remember asking an attorney something like this. So, you guys get together, you and the other team, and you go to the golf course and you do a round of golf and you say, listen, how much can we extort? How much is your guy worth? My guy's worth this much. Let's just keep this thing going for a while and we'll get all the money we can out of both sides and then we'll strike a deal. What do you think? I asked him if they do that. And he said, absolutely not. I don't believe it. I believe they do it. What do you think, Dennis?
Absolutely. You're right on target. And just to elaborate, you ask me why I wrote that book, Attorneys Above the Law, is because it's very easy if a person will open up their mind to see, hey, and listen to say, look, this is not just what happens to one individual. This is what's happening all over this nation. It's what's happening in our governments. And when we look at a specific problem that someone's talking about going on in our society, people need to start asking, the 5 whys. Why is this happening? Well, okay, and you get a response. Well, then why did that happen? And you need to continue to ask why. And I'm just trying to help people realize the absurdity and the insanity that's both absurd and insane to continue to vote for lawyers in public elected official positions, knowing that they are a classical definition of mafia, where they have their bar that's supposed to govern the ethics and conduct of their attorneys and lawyers, and then their board of professional responsibilities that is supposed to govern the conduct of judges. And yet when we try to educate people that These people literally are not American citizens. They gave up their citizenship to their allegiance to the British Royal Temple Crown in England to become a member of the Lawyers Guild through this fraud and extortion concept. And then through the whole formation of all these corporations, these foreign for-profit corporations, we, you guys obviously enjoy being instructors, and you should. It's simply instructing the rest of the populace that has been devoid of the civics of what the lawyer class has done to take over, rule, and govern the society. And then all of our enforcement branches of our society, police, troopers, and so forth, all these people have literally given up their allegiance to the state constitutions and United States constitutions, and they simply are profiteering and racketeering in unison and in conspiracy and in concert with all of these lawyers that have gotten together and all of the legislative branches of government and all the lobbying to pass all these unlawful, not illegal, because illegal doesn't even matter anymore in our society. It's unlawful to pass all of these statutes, codes, and ordinances that violate our natural human rights and our constitutions. Does that make sense?
It does. And we have one of our instructors who is at just about every one of our meetups on Monday night. I saw him last night. His name is Mike Wasson. And Mike Wasson gets hauled into court pretty often, way more often than most of us would like. And he travels without a permit to travel. He doesn't think he needs one. And so when he goes into a courtroom with a new judge, he'll say, "Do you take your oath of office seriously?" And the judge will always say, "Absolutely." And then he'll say, "Have you taken any other oaths that conflict with your oath of office? Like, are you a Mason?" And it gets worse from there. We'll be right back. Attorneys above the law. By now, you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system, because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration systems and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
Usually, the older one gets, the less you are able to absorb amino acids and the less you are able to repair the 100 trillion cells of your body. As a result, you'll have less energy, your tissues will shrink, and you'll become wrinkled. An older person will typically injure more easily and heal more slowly. Not fun. However, if you can consume a protein powder that is easier to absorb, then you may be able to gain back some strength, muscle, and speed of recovery. One World Whey is a highly digestible whey protein powder that may be the perfect answer for you.
My name is Errol. I'm 74 years old. You know, the taste of One World Whey is amazing. I play pickleball, and since taking One World Whey and your trace mineral supplement, I have more energy and recover faster from my working out. I used to take another grass-fed whey protein powder, but now I'm getting much better results using One World Whey.
Call 888-988-3325. That's 888-988-3325. Or visit oneworldwhey.com.
As if chlorine in our water weren't bad enough, now they're adding ammonia?
It's true. Some municipalities are now adding ammonia plus chlorine to your water supply. It's a disinfectant called chloramine. But with a trusted Big Berkey water filter, you can keep chloramine out of your water. New NSF EPA certified lab tests show EPA Berkey water filters remove chloramines, pharmaceuticals, BPA, pesticides, bacteria and viruses, all forms of fluoride, and much more. Big Berkey water filters are the original and most trusted on the market, the gold standard in water purification. And our filters last for years at less than 2 cents per gallon. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get your Big Berkey today. Call 1-877-99-BERKEY or click BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
Did you know that drinking pure, high alkaline water is one of the most important factors in maintaining high energy and vibrant health? Most experts agree that the water you drink should be at a pH level of 8 or higher. AlkaVision Plasma pH Drops, available only at alkavision.com, combine a unique formula of only the most alkaline minerals. AlkaVision Plasma pH Drops alkalize your water, ridding the body of harmful toxins, and helps you regain health and energy. Alkalizing your water by simply adding 10 drops of AlkaVision Plasma pH Drops helps the body rid itself of acidic waste, increases oxygen content, and raises the pH of your body to healthy levels. And bacteria and viruses cannot survive in an alkaline high pH environment. Order your bottle of AlkaVision Plasma pH Drops for only $29.95 at alkavision.com. That's ALKAvision.com. Or call 269-409-1776. 269-409-1776. Alkalize your body. Supercharge your health at alkavision.com today.
Quantitative easing, unemployment at depression levels, Europe financial system falling apart, China getting out of U.S. treasuries. At the end of 2008, the time of TARP, the national debt was at $11 trillion, gold trading around $850 per ounce. Close to 2012, the national debt exceeded $16.4 trillion, gold doubled to $1,600 per ounce. The $20 trillion threshold for the national debt is inevitable. Politicians in Washington have a ferocious appetite for spending and stimulus. What's worse, a printing press to finance. 100 years ago, we had a gold standard to limit this madness, but now you have to adopt your own gold standard. Don't be fooled with paper promises. Get Midas Resources 10 Reasons to Buy Gold free by calling 800-686-2237. Understanding the gold and silver market may be the only insurance you could have to avoiding the next economic crisis. Call 1-800-686-2237 and order your free copy. Again, that's 800-686-2237.
Class Dennis Schuelke is with us, and his book is Attorneys Above the Law. And if you want to go to Amazon.com and search for Attorneys Above the Law, you'll find it. And if you go to usaprepares.com, click on the Instructors tab, you'll see Dennis Schuelke. Click on the link, and it'll take you right to Amazon, where you can read about a little bit more about this book. It's $10. Amazon.com. I have a copy in my hand. And this is a terrible situation that Dennis has gone through. Now, Dennis is a bright guy. He's graduated from the University of Nebraska. He's got a dual degree in industrial plant management and manufacturing engineering, and he's a commercial pilot. So, Dennis, please tell us a story about what happened. What happened to you and the financial losses that you encountered, the money that was stolen from you, and how your attempt to use the judicial system failed you?
Okay, I was just doing an investment in a West Coast startup manufacturing, a diversified manufacturing plant, and after multiple investments, I didn't see the progress that I was being told was being made, and I started investigating into it and discovered that I had been defrauded. So, living in Tennessee, and there's about 1,800 miles difference between where I live and where this matter went down. And so I found someone on the West Coast that was originally from right in the very state I lived. I thought, well, great. He said he'd look into it and said, hey, once we can find and establish a money trail, and if the money was spent and gone, he said, the fraud will be and have been established. And he said, well, a trial won't even be needed. All right, great. So that's how it all started out, and then it ended up years and years and years into litigation, and come to find out that the attorney was literally just taking me for a ride. And so then I ended up filing a lawsuit for fraud against the attorney himself. And then what I did in my book, Attorneys Above the Law, is I documented literally the steps and phases that I went through when you file fraud charges and claims against an attorney, and what you can expect to have happen in the United States system. So for those people that remain defiant, I guess I welcome you to go ahead and experience these things firsthand yourself. But that's why I documented what happened in this book, Attorneys Above the Law, so that for a very nominal investment, a person can read firsthand what happens in the United States in the system. You can see how the courts, the judges work, they react. You can see how their buddies come together. Do they lie? You can read the book and make that judgment decision for yourself based on actual transcript from trial documents, email exchanges that are documented, and so forth. And then you be the judge. And for all those people that continue to vote for attorneys, lawyers, and previous judges and things like that in political office positions, then all I can say in my advice to them is good luck. I hope you like and enjoy what's happening to the degradation of our society, and I don't want to listen and complain and hear someone else complain that we have problems and that they were being built. So does that make sense, Vincent?
Absolutely it does. And what's sad about all this is that where do these attorneys live? Well, they live in gated communities, and they live higher than, the average guy does. They have more wealth. They travel in circles with politicians, and they all seem to get along just fine, and they're all siphoning. They're skimmers. At least that's my opinion of them. Let me give you an example of how the system works. I learned last night, I was at the meetup, and I've been hammering the point about this little town in Sparta, Missouri, where it's about 1.25 square miles, and they set up a speed trap, and about 1,700 people who live in this little hamlet. They write about 170 citations per month out of this little 1.25 square mile area in Missouri. And I've recommended that no one avoid going to Sparta, Missouri, because it's a toll booth. Well, one of their finest officers, a guy named Andrew Spencer, young guy, tased one of our instructors. His name is Bob Estep. Bob Estep lives in this community where Sparta, Missouri is, and everybody knows him. He's a big farmer, landowner. Well, Bob Estep got tased in his own car by this cop, Andrew Spencer. So we've been ringing the alarm and giving out the mayor's phone number, and so what happens is the police chief ends up resigning. Andrew Spencer, the cop who tased our instructor, gets promoted to chief of police. This just happened. And so and I called for the investigation and the arrest of Andrew Spencer, the cop who tased our instructor. I called for the investigation. I called for the arrest of him. By whom? The sheriff. Another guy I know. A constitutional sheriff. Joey Kyle. Joey Kyle is the sheriff of Christian County, Missouri. His deputies arrived on the scene when Bob Estep was tased. He knows all about it. So I'm wondering, why has Sheriff Joey Kyle not arrested Andrew Spencer for violating the civil rights of Bob Estep, the 68-year-old farmer? Joey Kyle just pleaded guilty and is going to serve 1 year and 1 day in the federal pen. This just happened. For corruption. Being involved in a fraudulent investment scheme. Transfer of funds illegally. All kinds of things. So we have a corrupt sheriff. We have a corrupt cop who's now chief of police, another pillar of the community. And this system, these guys rally around each other. They circle the wagons, and there's almost impossible to get them out. And the only way I can think of to stop these thugs is to do what I've recommended. Avoid going to Sparta. Don't go to Sparta. Don't spend your money. Don't buy pizza. Don't go to the gun store there. Don't buy gas there. Don't even go through there. eventually, if we do that, commerce will dry up, and the captains of business in Sparta will say, "Hey, what'd you guys do? You chased all our customers away. You guys have to go." And they'll throw out the government, and they'll throw out the police chief, and they'll throw out the rest of those members of the Blue Plague. But that's what we have to do. We have to stop using their services. Dennis, what are your thoughts on how we can stop the corruption within the legal system?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question. There are many organizations that have had it all over the United States.
Mm-hmm.
One of them, National Liberty Alliance, I've learned about. They pointed out there was a guy. They pounce on these people just as though you guys have done so in the past. And there was an example that they gave me in Calvert, Texas. A retired municipal court judge by the name of David Viscardi recently came forward and exposed this whole. He didn't want to be any longer a part of this traffic ticket scheme, and he started blowing the whistle on the policing for profit system. He checked out after 15 years. Just can't do it anymore. You know, when we the people said we've had enough, and we do just like you suggested, those things to say, well, we're going to stop doing business totally with these people because, you know, it's the consent of the governed that they want. They want your signature for everything. They want your consent. The only time lawfully they can haul you into jail is when you have physically harmed someone or someone's property and truly committed a crime. Otherwise, they need your consent to prosecute you in these courts of corruption. Or, you know, when some people say, look, this corruption is not an actual correct term, because why? Is because that means or gives the inclination that the system was there, it was legitimate to begin with. When in fact, when you look at all of this goes and always trace back to the Pope, you know, and if we would revoke the charters of all these shadowy corporations and courts, because they are operating on a foreign soil, on our soil. They are not even legitimate courts in the United States. And most people may not even be aware that a recent case went down in Washington, D.C. that says all courts outside of the 10 statute square miles of District of Columbia are federal courts, and they are foreign courts. And they do not have jurisdiction to be operating in the United States. But when you look at our Declaration of Independence, it clearly states that they operate from the consent of the governed. And boy, would I like to do a separate segment with you on really explaining what that means. We give them consent, and they do it through forced fear and intimidation through all of these coded blue uniforms that you have been describing, Vincent.
Mm-hmm.
That's why
and
they don't want to kill you, because you are an income producer. You are an actual slave, and they want your money. They want access to your trust that's set up in the capital letters of your name and your Social Security number. There is a trust that's set up, and they want to tap and they want to access that trust for you, and they want you, the human blood person, to be compelled to have to pay, and they want to extort money from you, whether it's via fraud, extortion, racketeering, profiteering, whether it's through the courts, through the jails, the prison for profit, the policing for profit, the writing citations against you. And when you talked about this guy, Mike Lawson, you started saying that, you know, he says you have a right to travel. Well, stop and think about it. Is he right? Do we have a natural right to travel, you know, from our home, out our driveway, across the street to another piece of property? Do we have the right to travel from home to work? Do we have the right to get on a horse and travel from here to work? Do we have a right to ride a bicycle? Do we have a right to drive a vehicle? Well, what our lawyer class has decided is obviously you need a license. We're going to diminish that right to travel regardless of what you have done in life. We're going to diminish that right. We're going to make it a
Hold that thought.
Call it a privilege. And we're going.
Hold that thought. By now you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system, because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration system and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
As if chlorine in our water weren't bad enough, now they're adding ammonia?
It's true. Some municipalities are now adding ammonia plus chlorine to your water supply. It's a disinfectant called chloramine. But with a trusted Big Berkey water filter, you can keep chloramine out of your water. New NSF EPA certified lab tests show EPA Berkey water filters remove chloramines, pharmaceuticals, BPA, pesticides, bacteria and viruses, all forms of fluoride, and much more. Big Berkey water filters are the original and most trusted on the market. The gold standard in water purification. And our filters last for years at less than 2 cents per gallon. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get your Big Berkey today. Call 1-877-99-BERKEY or click BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
Honey, it's time for dinner. What are you doing over there on your computer?
I'm shopping for a new wallet. Mine is falling apart. Hey, did you know there's a company called ID Stronghold that makes shielded wallets to prevent electronic pickpocketing?
Oh, I didn't realize there was such a thing as electronic pickpocketing. What is that?
Well, apparently, many of the new credit and debit cards being issued have radio chips inside them called RFID that transmit our banking information to card readers when we pay. Unfortunately, a bad guy can also get one of these readers and go around the city scanning people, collecting their credit card numbers and personal information without us knowing it.
Wow, that sounds scary. Since you're getting a new wallet anyway, you should definitely get an ID Stronghold shielded wallet. Are they more expensive?
No. In fact, I can get a shielded leather wallet from IDStronghold.com for the same price or less than regular unshielded wallets from other stores.
Sounds great. My wallet isn't falling apart yet, but let me pick one out too. I want to be protected, and these wallets at IDStronghold.com look fantastic.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows. Pause and rewind live TV. Even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.
A little over a year ago, I began to do a lot of research into why, even though I had a pretty good-sized meal, that I was still starving. And my research led me to a well-known fact that most of the soils that we grow our crops on here in the United States and across the industrialized world are almost completely depleted of almost all of the key minerals and trace elements that our bodies need to rebuild themselves, fight off cancer, and be healthy. I then searched out the best vitamin and mineral company out there and discovered Youngevity. The Youngevity products are designed to give you the real nutrition you need, and once you've got that, you don't have to eat as much to be satisfied. I've lost 37 pounds in 2 months, simply getting the vitamins and minerals I need. Check it out for yourself. It's incredible. Go to InfoWarsTeam.com today and order your first canister of Beyond Tangy Tangerine Complete Multivitamin Mineral Complex Dietary Supplement. That's InfoWarsTeam.com.
Class Dennis Schuelke is with us, and we're talking about attorneys above the law. If you go to usaprepares.com, click on the instructors tab, it will take you to a link, Dennis Schuelke, Schuelke. And you click on that and it'll take you right to Amazon if you want to learn more about his book. His website's been hacked. He's exposing the corruption in the system. Dennis, we have an instructor, John Gore, and he used to be a cop in Springfield, Missouri. And he quit. He quit because he would not involve himself in the corruption of writing and changing police reports after the fact. He wouldn't do it. So when you talk about policing for profit, there's absolutely no question that it happens. When you talk about writing and changing police reports, absolutely it happens. When you talk about building cases against people so that later on when they get hauled into court, the judge can say, holy smokes, this rap sheet is unbelievable. The police have been called a number of times on you. And that's what they've done to me. There's a local radio station guy who used to be a cop. He's got a show once a week in the Ozarks, and he's called the cops on me. So when the cops show up, they write a report. I had to be called because, Finelli was causing problems. I wasn't causing any problems. I was just an attendee at an event, just walking around, smiling, having a good time. And, the police report, I'm sure, says that, I did all kinds of things, had a gun or something. And even when I didn't have a gun at those times. That's what they do. You're absolutely right. These guys are out of control. So yes, we need to have you on again and again and again. And, I pulled out my calendar during the last break, and, I will call you after the broadcast. It'll probably be this evening, because I'm going to go do some hay, and I'm going to do something that some people might even perceive to be illegal. I'm going to get on a motorcycle, a dirt bike, and I'm going to ride down the road to check the fields before I do hay. Now, some people might say, do I have a license to ride a dirt bike on the road? I don't need one. I can ride my four-wheeler on the road too. I don't cause problems. I don't do dangerous things. I don't antagonize other vehicles, but I do ride a dirt bike and a four-wheeler down the road. No permit, no license plates. No registration. And I'm not going to get one either. What do you think about that?
It's the right to travel that they are trying to make a licensed privileged out of. And if you're Alaska, you can see up there, they're pulling guys over right and left, fining them $200 here and there, taking them to jail. They do it every day.
Mm-hmm.
Just like you've described. So when is America going to have enough of this, Vincent? When are all Americans going to have enough of this?
Well, I guess we're going to know when the shooting starts. And, there's this, I went,
do we really want that? Do any of us really want that? Of course not.
No.
But
the answer is we don't.
What else is it going to take to start getting this corrected? You can talk about this. We can expose this till we're, blue in the face, till our face matches the color of the blue uniform of these code enforcement people that just are backing these unbelievable, outrageous, preposterous new codes, laws, and so forth. But we're not injuring anyone. We're just, we're just enjoying our lives. Is this
Dennis,
what our founding fathers fought and died for?
I got to tell you a quick story. We only have like a minute. Had a preparedness expo in Lebanon, the largest in the country, and the cop showed up, K9 guy, and his partner showed up, and on setup day. And I walked over and I said, "Hey guys, how's it going?" I said, "Look, we're going to consecrate this ground as sacred Native American ground at 6:00 tonight, and you can't be here with your uniforms. You're welcome to come back off duty and out of uniform, but not on duty, not in uniform." What they do? They complained about me. They went right over to the city manager. And what did the city manager do? He sent the fire trucks. He sent the fire trucks and more cops. He sent the county cops, the city cops. He sent them all. And they walked in formation. They were disruptive and they damaged the expo. So now the city of Lebanon and USA Prepares are at war. They started a war. So what do? I guess we call for a national boycott against Lebanon, Missouri. Don't go there. Yeah.
Single them out and expose them, Vincent.
Hey, Dennis, thanks so much for being with us. I'll call you this evening after I get done baling hay and cutting hay and raking hay and tedding hay, and we'll get you back on the schedule for, more of these broadcasts. This is 101. Class Dennis Schuelke, Attorneys Above the Law, exposing the corruption.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state in back taxes, you know they'll never stop coming after you. With bank levies, wage garnishments, they'll even seize your home or business. The good news? A government program for tax debt forgiveness. It's called the Fresh Start Initiative.
I'm Paul Sibley with U.S. Tax Shield. We can help navigate the new laws, get you protected, and resolve your tax issues permanently.
Call the experts at U.S. Tax Shield now for your free consultation and get a guaranteed quote to resolve your case. Call 800-436-6451. That's 800-436-6451.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson. Have you ever wondered why banks, stockbrokers, investment advisors won't talk about gold IRAs? They've been available since 1986, yet the financial industry won't recognize the value of gold for your retirement. Gold has outperformed paper investments, yet no word about IRAs. If you would like to have gold for your retirement, call 800-686-2237. Don't get left behind by rising inflation and low returns. Call 800-686-2237. Secure your future and call 1-800-686-2237.
It's absolutely heartbreaking. All over America, people are suffering from issues related to angina pain, high blood pressure, congestive heart failure, irregular heartbeat, clogged arteries, and high cholesterol. Can you live your life free from sickness, pain, and fear, and experience your body healing itself? Look to Heart and Body Extract, an all-natural supplement that aids ailing bodies. It has an exclusive formula of wild-crafted and organic herbs. End the pain without all the side effects of prescription drugs. People 20 years younger will envy your vitality. Want a happier, healthier you? Then go to heartandbody.com or call toll-free 866-295-5305 for free information. Heart and Body Extract offers a lifetime guarantee with no price increase in over 14 years. What are you waiting for? Call Heart and Body now at 866-295-5305 for your free information. Go to heartandbody.com, 866-295-5305. Distributor inquiries welcome.
Is negative content or comments on the web affecting your personal or professional reputation? Unfavorable comments, embarrassing pictures, videos, legal documents, and bad tweets can ruin your personal life, your career, or your business. It happens a lot, and it's just not fair. But what can you do? Reputation.com can protect your good name. Get a free consultation now at 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Call right now for a free expert reputation analysis. It's easy to squash the unfair attacks with our patented system, and the analysis is absolutely free. Make the best things about you jump out in searches. Protect your personal and professional reputation, your business, and your income. Get your free reputation analysis from Reputation.com right now. Call 800-831-0771. 800-831-0771. 800-831-0771.
Watch the greenbacks tumble.
Everyone all set, cocked, locked. Here we go. Hour number 2 of USAPrepares.com. Danae is engineering this hour of the broadcast, and I'm delighted to introduce to you your newest instructor. Hartford Van Dyke is with us. He wrote Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars. Welcome, Hartford.
Oh, thank you very much.
I'm delighted you're here. I had a question for you. Now, we were talking about the Pearl Harbor attack, December 7th, 1941. What was the significance of that attack on your life?
I was born June 4th, 1940. I was a year and a half old, 18 months old, when the Pearl Harbor attack occurred. I was born in Hawaii. My father had come there in about 1935, and his uncle was in intelligence, G2 Army intelligence, and fluent in the Japanese and fluent and understood very well the tactical maneuvers of the Japanese. And he was able to determine quite accurately when the Pearl Harbor attack was going to happen. And he put out a first notice of it on, I think it was November 30th. and the attack didn't happen that particular day, but he put a warning out to his people to that effect, and he actually sent a warning message clear back to his hometown in Oklahoma. And it later surfaced that he had the foreknowledge of what was going to happen. Anyway, my father was a pot and pan salesman for the Wherever utensil company for kitchenware, and he went door to door in Hawaii selling the pots and pans, and it gave him access to the Japanese homes. And it was because of that he was able to discover where the radio transmitting and receiving equipment were for the Japanese in Hawaii, the ones who were entrenched there prior to the attack. And anyway, he was able to tell his uncle, and when it was discovered, they went in and did a raid and caught a man tearing up a rice paper puzzle, a rice paper list of the operators on the island, and they caught him just before he dumped they'd torn. This is all on rice paper, very fine paper, the operators' names. And there was a man in there that was tearing up the rice paper lists during the Pearl Harbor thing, and that he was captured. And the list was the particles of the rice paper were captured, and they built a locked, what you call an air-sealed room with tables, and agents put that rice paper puzzle back together, and then went out and arrested the Japanese. That was after the attack, but that's how close they were involved in it. And my father, on the Friday night before the Pearl Harbor attack, my father met his uncle coming out of a barber shop, and his uncle told him, Lyle, you've got to my father's name is Lyle Van Dyke. They told Lyle, you've got to drain a water tank in your place and fill it with fresh water. And you also want to buy some goods for some food put in a stock, because we don't know where this is going to go. He said, and when the planes start coming over, to have your wife and son underneath the bed, so if there's any shooting going on, they will be more protected that way. The place that we were staying in at that time was up in Waimea Heights, and when the action started, he was warned that it was going to come in on Sunday morning, because that was the typical method that the Japanese attacked. And so on Sunday morning, when the attack began, my father, I had been put out in the backyard. It was a fenced backyard, and they put me out at about 7. And went back to bed, and around 8 o'clock the fireworks started. And anyway, he went up on the roof to look at Pearl Harbor, because you could see it from the roof of the house the place that we were staying. And about that time, a Japanese aircraft went over the top of the house, and my father came right down off the roof. And he went out after the attack, he went out to the hospital to give blood, and he walked in. The first thing he saw was a man's leg being cut off, and it made him sick. He couldn't do the blood thing, so he went outside and put water in his handkerchief and dropped water into the people that were lined up. They were all on the sidewalk. He said it was like Gone with the Wind, the movie Gone with the Wind. People were lined up on the sidewalk to go in. Some were dying, some were just injured. So anyway, he did what he could there, and there were 4,000 casualties. They never explained that to the public. There was 4,000 casualties, and he said they were bringing them in by the truckloads. The trucks were lined up for 3 blocks with people that had been killed. And they were stacking them in the Williams mortuary like cordwood. And he lost two of his best friends. He could have warned them about the attack if there hadn't been an intelligence restriction on it. And his uncle was in the G2 intelligence. And he promised his uncle he would never say anything about it or publish anything about it until after the uncle had died, because once you're in the intelligence department, they are always considered an intelligence officer. And he had a pension from the military and medical benefits, and my father did not want to disturb that. So nothing was going to be coming out about Pearl Harbor until after his uncle died. So that there's quite a bit of story connected with this. There's the book, The Skeleton in Uncle Sam's Closet, which is the book that I wrote about this. It was published in 1973. There's a story behind that, too. What prompted me to read that was a book called None Dare Call It Conspiracy. Anyway, my life, I didn't understand these things. My father didn't tell me about the Pearl Harbor thing until I was 27 years old. So I was ignorant of the thing, except I overheard my father in conversations with other people telling him things about it. I'll go back and give you a little biography thing now, give you some idea of where I'm coming from. I was born, as I said, June 4th, 1940. I came across the United States in the summer of 42, in a convoy with my mother and father. And they spent some time in Los Angeles. That's where my father's father was, my grandfather and grandmother. And then he moved up to Portland, Oregon, in November of 43. And the thing that happened was such a disaster to my father. It made him very angry, of course, towards the government, because President Roosevelt had betrayed us there in Hawaii. And what happened, I'll tell you basically what happened. My father's uncle, Gerald Mason Van Dyke is his name, sent the warning message from Pearl Harbor from Hawaii at 2 p.m. Thursday, December 4th, 1941, 66 hours before the attack. And the message was received by Rear Admiral Paulus Prince Powell, and Powell took it to Secretary of Navy Knox and Undersecretary of Navy James Vincent Forstall. And Frank Knox wanted to bring the ships out of the harbor and put a defense perimeter around the islands. And they told Secretary of War Simpson that that's what they wanted to do, and he told Roosevelt what they were going to do. And Roosevelt came to them and said, "I'm the commander-in-chief of this military. You're not going to do anything of the such." And he had Powell and Knox and Forstall all put under military guard, held at gunpoint by Marines until after the Pearl Harbor attack. And Saturday morning, Powell said, "We've got to tell our men over there." He had lots of friends. Rear Admiral Paulus Prince Powell had a lot of friends over there, and said, "We have to tell them." And Roosevelt backed up a little bit. He said, "Well, send them this message: expect Japanese sabotage." And what he did by that was he put them in an even worse position, because if there's going to be an aerial attack, you spread your airplanes out on the ground so they can't all be struck by one bomb. And you have your ammunition up on your gunnery ammunition up on the surface so that you can load it into the guns. Under a sabotage alert, you gather all your planes together so they're easier to guard, and you put your ammunition down below and in storage below the ground. So what he did is he set them up for a very brutal attack. And my father recognized Roosevelt to be a traitor, and so anyway, later in life, he went to a conference in Washington. It was called the Human Events conference. It was a conference put up by the Human Events magazine, and he was at the dinner table at the meeting that they had, the convention. And I hear some music coming up.
Hartford, we're going into a break, and
okay, why don't we stop here and I'll tell you.
Yeah, we're going to a break, and we'll be back in just a few minutes after some short commercial announcements. This is absolutely riveting. By now, you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system, because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration systems and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
Hi, John Hubner from Midas Resources. Are you tired of watching your hard-earned assets dwindle away? As government spending is out of hand and the Federal Reserve is creating in excess of $20 billion a week, are you tired of stockbrokers gambling away your hard-earned money? Is this market a setup for a crash greater than 1987? Too many of today's policies resemble those that led to the collapse of 1929. This is John Hubner, and that was me in 2007. And we all know what happened when the subprime credit bubble burst. By March 2009, the dollar lost 50% of its value. The entire U.S. banking system was on the verge of collapsing. Like all financial problems of the past, is history about to repeat itself? Call me, John Hubner, at 1-800-686-2237, extension 129, before it's too late to protect yourself. Will the oncoming catastrophe take all private IRAs, 401ks with it? There is a way to protect your hard-earned assets. Call me, John Hubner, at 1-800-686-2237, extension 129.
In the U.S. alone, a home invasion occurs every 13 seconds. On top of that, the average response time for 911 is over 15 minutes. That just won't cut it. Don't allow yourself or the important people in your life to be victims. When seconds matter, don't be caught stumbling for your firearm. Get the protection you deserve. Get yourself a hidden holster from hiddenholster.com. It's the original hidden holster. The hidden holster is quick, easy, and convenient. It's versatile enough for the home, workplace, or virtually anywhere else you might need it. Have peace of mind with your firearm close by at all times. Go to hiddenholster.com. That's hiddenholster.com. If you own a firearm, you need a hidden holster. Your protection matters, and self-defense is the best defense. Go to hiddenholster.com. That's hiddenholster.com. The original hidden holster.
It's very easy to be a criminal. All you need to burglarize a home is one simple household tool, a pair of scissors. If your home security system can be compromised by a criminal using scissors, then you're making it easy for them. Almost every home security system, even those sold by big-name companies, has a weakness. The phone line. You shell out $1,500, get locked into a long-term contract, and think you're safe. But a burglar can destroy your alarm in seconds with one snip. And when a burglar cuts your phone line, you're defenseless. Simply Safe Home Security is the smarter choice. Built by Harvard engineers, Simply Safe uses a wireless connection to call the cops. Scissors can't cut it, and that means your home stays safe. 24/7 professional monitoring is under $15 a month with no contract. Simply Safe Home Security keeps you safer than the other guys for half the cost. Protect your home with the alarm you can trust. Simply Safe. Go to simplysafedefense.com now for an exclusive 10% offer. That's simplysafedefense.com.
Class, Hartford Van Dyke's with us. Yes, sir. And we've been talking about Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who betrayed us. And Hartford, you said he was a traitor. Please continue.
Okay, I'll explain what happened here with the, see why I was left. Yes, I was telling you about the Human Events Conference my father went to. And a man was sitting there at the table across from him, and my father didn't know who the man was. My father was commenting about the Pearl Harbor attack, and talked to this man across the table for about 20 or 30 minutes. And finally, the man inserted him. He says, "Mr. Van Dyke, do you know who I am?" And he says, "Oh, I don't know you from Adam." He said, "I am Rear Admiral Paulus Prince Powell. I am the man who received your uncle's message from the Hawaiian Islands." And then he went ahead and told my father the story of it. And he says, "I've heard you talk here for a half an hour." And he says, "You've, what they say, dotted all the I's and crossed all the T's." He says, "I know you know what you're talking about." And he says, "Would you like to know what happened at Pearl Harbor?" And then he gave my father the picture of what happened in Washington, D.C. And then he gave my father the story that way. So that's an interesting coincidence. And he gave my father a business card and so forth to identify himself properly. And I later called years later when I was putting the Pearl Harbor book together, I called Washington, D.C. and talked with his wife, who was still alive. And so these things happened in my father's life. And I grew up in Portland, Oregon. It was voted in 1949 as the most beautiful city in the United States. New York is the eastern Jewish capital of the United States, and Portland, Oregon is the western Jewish capital of the United States. And it was a very beautiful city, very well organized city. And my father conducted his business there. He was working at his desk one day, and his telephone, he had bought one of these telephone rests that you put on in the groove of between the bones of your shoulder to hold the telephone, and he had just purchased a very expensive desk for his office. And his telephone fell off his shoulder, and it put a dent in that desk. And that made my father so angry, he invented the thing called the Restaphone, and that a stable phone holder that you could put on your shoulder. And he manufactured it for several years, and that was his source of income from then on. And he told me, he said, I'd never sell that desk. He says that dent in that desktop was the inspiration for my Restaphone. So my father was an inventor to that extent. And he left the wherever company to build the Restaphone. So that was the basic monetary base of my father for years. I grew up in my family environment was a good environment, very good. I would say almost ideal. I had a preschool training under a woman. She had a group who she would take care of during the week. And then I went to kindergarten in Beaumont School in Portland, Oregon, and came up through the years to the 7th grade. My primary interest in all of this was electricity. When I was young, my grandmother showed me how to plug a lamp in. She was taking care of me while my sister was being born. She showed me how to plug a lamp into the wall. Well, I learned about the rules of making an electric lamp work that way. And then I graduated from that to sticking bobby pins in the outlets. And one of those blew up and sent me across the room. So I had quite a curiosity about electricity. And I had gotten a shock also down in Los Angeles earlier when my parents had stayed there before they came to Portland. So I had a very intense interest in electricity, and so I studied it all the way up. My electric train sets and so forth I had later. When I was 5 years old, my father gave me a breadboard type hookup of a house. Showed how the electricity came in a cord and through fuse holders and to switches and so forth. It was all laid out as if it were a blueprint. So he taught me schematic diagrams on that basis. And I was only 5 years old, and he trusted me with 110-volt circuits to that. And then I learned more about electricity through my train set. And when I was about 10 years old, A man helped me with radio and started teaching me radio. He's an amateur.
Hold that thought. We're going into another break. We'll be right back. By now, you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system, because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration system and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. I'm Vincent Finelli of USAPrepares.com. As most of you know, I broadcast weekday mornings on GCN from 9 to 11. And I'm also a full-time farmer. Add to that mix the weekly meetups and the Get Prepared Expo, and this combination makes for a demanding schedule. On the farm, we raise grass-fed Black Angus cattle and provide them with the best variety of summer and fall grasses available. Our cattle are exposed to the extremes of weather, the toxins in the air, and the electromagnetic radiation that's all around us. So even the best grasses and food that we provide are not enough. Our cattle require minerals and supplements for strong health and resistance to disease. And so do we. For these reasons, my mother, our children, Mrs. Finelli, and I all take Longevity, Beyond Tangy Tangerine, De-Stress, Glucogel, and EFA+. USAPreparesTeam.com. And thank you for being in class today.
We live in a complicated society. Stressful issues are always popping up. Have you ever been treated unfairly by someone? Have you ever been overcharged for a repair? Have you ever signed a contract or a document? Worried about identity theft? How many times have you been in those unique situations where you just wanted to call an attorney to find out if you're right or wrong, or what your legal rights are? But every time you think about calling an attorney, what do you think about first? That's right. Who do you call, and how much will it cost? Our friends at Legal Shield have found a solution. With a nationwide network of 6,900 attorneys who average 19 years of experience, Legal Shield's law firms take over 40,000 calls per week helping their members. For less than $20 per month, you can have access to Legal Shield on everything from the trivial to the traumatic. Let Legal Shield stand up for your rights at lsprotection.com. That's lsprotection.com. Or call 855-340-SAVE, 855-340-7283.
Results will vary from case to case.
Is negative content or comments on the web affecting your personal or professional reputation? Unfavorable comments, embarrassing pictures, videos, legal documents, and bad tweets can ruin your personal life, your career, or your business. It happens a lot, and it's just not fair. But what can you do? Reputation.com can protect your good name. Get a free consultation now at 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Call right now for a free expert reputation analysis. It's easy to squash the unfair attacks with our patented system, and the analysis is absolutely free. Make the best things about you jump out in searches. Protect your personal and professional reputation, your business, and your income. Get your free reputation analysis from Reputation.com right now. Call 800-831-0771. 800-831-0771. 800-831-0771.
In the U.S. alone, a home invasion occurs every 13 seconds. On top of that, the average response time for 911 is over 15 minutes. That just won't cut it. Don't allow yourself or the important people in your life to be victims. When seconds matter, don't be caught stumbling for your firearm. Get the protection you deserve. Get yourself a hidden holster from hiddenholster.com. It's the original hidden holster. The hidden holster is quick, easy, and convenient. It's versatile enough for the home, workplace, or virtually anywhere else you might need it. Have peace of mind with your firearm close by at all times. Go to hiddenholster.com. That's hiddenholster.com. If you own a firearm, you need a hidden holster. Your protection matters, and self-defense is the best defense. Go to hiddenholster.com. That's hiddenholster.com. The original Hidden Holster.
Class, I'm delighted to be broadcasting with Hartford Van Dyke. And I have in my hands a document. It's called Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars by Hartford Van Dyke. Hartford Van Dyke, D-Y-K-E. And inside, a few pages in, it says Top Secret, Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars, an Introductory Programming Manual, Operations Research Technical Manual by Hartford Van Dyke. Hartford, can you tell us what this is about, these silent weapons for quiet wars?
Yes. What it is a process that has been developed to use computer systems to control the economy. I'm not going to go, I've pretty well covered the biography side of this thing. I wanted to explain that the elements that are involved in this are logic and mathematics. Those are the basic tools of this system. I learned the logic by the time I was 12 years old. I could design a telephone and switching office. It sounds like a big number, but in fact there's only 5 operations and or not memory and delay. These are the 5 functions of all computers everywhere in the world, and as long as a person knows how to use these functions, they can design any machine. And I learned the logic part by the time I was 12 years old. When I was a couple years later, I learned the importance of mathematics and began to become familiar with it. And by the time I was a senior, I taught myself calculus. I understood the importance of mathematics in electronics. And the importance of the electronics is that the fast computers of the time were analog computers, which means they were built with electronic parts that simulated the calculation processes by an adding machine or regular digital system. And that was very important because you need speed where you don't need the accuracy. You need the speed to come to quick conclusions. The computers that are used for these processes are what are called hybrid computers. They can use an analog if they want, and this is what they were doing in that age period. They were using an analog computer to come to an approximately correct answer, and then they could shift over to something like the MIT computer digital and home in on finer values. The information that was used by the silent weapon system was obtained from the Census Bureau of the United States. The man that brought this process together was a Russian-born mathematician by the name of Wassily Leontief, who came to this country in about 1925. He worked for the Census Department of the United States government. By 1940, they had something like a 45 industry system. And so these are the things you have to be able to understand is how this package comes together. There's a couple steps I want to explain before we get into this, but this program is over at 9 o'clock my time, isn't it? It's a 1-hour show.
Yes, and we have probably about 15 broadcast minutes left.
Okay, well, I'll home in on this. I could always come back later to some of the other things. But But in the period of time I was in the Navy, came out of the Navy. I was in a short time. Apparently, they recognized my father's involvement in the past, and I was discharged early. Went into invention, went on up to started developing things like the criminal complaint form that's used in my economics work. And I learned about the Pearl Harbor attack from my father in 1967. And it changed the course of my life because I realized I could have a fine electronics business by the time another 10 or 20 years rolled by, and it wouldn't be worth much because the country would be collapsing. So I gave up the electronics in the early 1970s. I went over to the Pearl Harbor material, put the book out, then I studied a book called A Report from Iron Mountain by Leonard C. Lewin. right after I published the book, I was deep into that Report from Iron Mountain book, and it was a very heavy book. I mean, I got about halfway through it, and I had all I could take. About a year later, I was interested in a certain math problem. I was dipping into it, and it was in a book called College Algebra by Lyman M. Kells, Professor Emeritus, United States Naval Academy math professor. And in the footnotes to this thing, he was explaining the use of matrices. Matrices is a system of simultaneous equations that takes several simultaneous events and relate them. And he gave footnotes in the book that indicated the method by which the Report from Iron Mountain described the meetings that they had to determine how to control the economy, and the mathematics that was involved in it. They had a machine to do some experimenting with. They didn't tell in the book Report from Iron Mountain how it was done, but the footnotes of this college algebra book I had did explain how it was done, basically. So I wrote up a thing called Warning Surprise Attack Imminent, and it was 8.5 by 14 pages, 5 pages long. I sent a copy of it to every representative and senator in the United States, 535 people total. And so anyway, it didn't get the response. Well, a few years later, it was a precursor of the book Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars. And in 1978, get these figures out. But in 1978, I was given an offer by some people that knew about the process that I'd written, and they offered me money, bankrolled me for a whole year to put this book together called Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars. The major part of it was done about halfway through the year, but the finishing up and getting it ready for publication was another part of it. And then I put out 65 copies quietly to the Patriot movement. It was done anonymously. And then I was traveling through Vancouver, Washington. I had been publishing the book, and was traveling through Vancouver, Washington one day, and there was a man out on the side of the road with his thumb out, hitching a ride north towards Seattle, and he was in full-dress military uniform, and that's very rare to see any military man hitching a ride on the side of the road. So I pulled over and asked him what the problem was, and he says, I'm late to my duty station at Fort McCord Air Force Base. And he was in a real mess over that, and I said, I'll take you there. And as we were driving up the road, I had this book beside me in the car. I had my publishing materials beside me. And I explained to him the silent weapons system all the way up to McCord Air Force Base. And when he stepped out of the car, I gave him a copy of the book, and he took it on base through the guard station. Well, when he got inside, apparently, he read what he had, and he said he knew he'd better never get caught with that, so he stuffed it in a copy machine there. A few years later, Boeing had a sale for their machines. Not Boeing, but Fort McCord Air Force Base had an auction off of their machines, and a man that worked for Boeing Aircraft wanted one of those machines for spare parts for his own copy machine. So he bought this machine and took it home and tore it apart, and he found this manual inside called Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars. And he sent it to the America's Promise. He said he broke out into a cold sweat when he read it, and he sent it down to Phoenix, Arizona, to an organization called America's Promise Newsletter. And they published it in November of 1986. And then it later became the first chapter in a book called Behold a Pale Horse. And time went on. In 1996, I finally admitted that I had done the book. A man had helped me type it up, and he, back in earlier in the 70s, and he said, Hartford, these people are using your book out there as reference material in court cases, as if the government wrote this book. He says, that's disinformation. You can't be doing that. And I realized, yeah, you're right. I've got to straighten the record out. So I announced in 1996 on Patriot shortwave radio that I had written the book. And there's quite a few keys in the book. The book is signed with a number, and the number, if you move the digits one place, is the date of the Pearl Harbor attack. There's several different book references for it. But what it was a collage of military information and other types of high-tech stuff, operations research type stuff. One of the books that was used as a reference was Operations Research by Hamdi M. Taha. And so and of course the book Report from Iron Mountain was used as a reference piece. And what it does is it describes a computing machine. The book, by the way, that book was went out, and it was well received. It's gone all the way around the world. It's been translated into foreign languages. It's only 56 pages long, 8.5 by 5.5 format. It's almost too small to be called a book in a sense. But what it is, it wasn't just a matter of writing a fiction book. What it was a presentation of a series of pieces of information on how this machine would work. And so it's all scientific from that standpoint. It got into political issues that, as a part of the structure of the item, but it was an accurate expression of how this machine worked. Now, the book was put out in 79 December, and basically, that when that book came out, I had not read any book directly on that. I'd read books related. I read the book Studies in the Structure of the American Economy by Wesley Rawles. Now, so I had some pieces to work with to put that book together. But what happened was in 1980, September of 1980, the Scientific American magazine, this is important, Scientific American magazine of September 1980, was all on economics. That was the title on the front page of the magazine, Economics. And back about page 200 is an article, the state of the American economy in the year 2000. And so that book, that article in that magazine explained the same machine, but it just didn't give the political information of how it could be used to control an economy of a nation for political reasons. But it had all the necessary technical information in it, and it masked.
How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
Honey, it's time for dinner. What are you doing over there on your computer?
I'm shopping for a new wallet. Mine is falling apart. Hey, did you know there's a company called ID Stronghold that makes shielded wallets to prevent electronic pickpocketing?
Oh, I didn't realize there was such a thing as electronic pickpocketing. What is that?
Well, apparently, many of the new credit and debit cards being issued have radio chips inside them called RFID that transmit our banking information to card readers when we pay. Unfortunately, a bad guy can also get one of these readers and go around the city scanning people, collecting their credit card numbers and personal information without us knowing it.
Wow, that sounds scary. Since you're getting a new wallet anyway, you should definitely get an ID Stronghold shielded wallet. Are they more expensive?
No. In fact, I can get a shielded leather wallet from IDStronghold.com for the same price or less than regular unshielded wallets from other stores.
Sounds great. My wallet isn't falling apart yet, but let me pick one out too. I want to be protected, and these wallets at IDStronghold.com look fantastic.
Hi, my name is DeRay, suffering from migraines, having Botox injections in my head and neck to alleviate pain, costing $1,500 out of my pocket. I discovered Dr. Ortman and Gentle Touch chiropractic adjustment called Nuka. I'm migraine-free since my first adjustment. Thanks for giving me my life back, Dr. Ortman. I wish they prescribed you instead of Botox.
Thanks, DeRay. Putting the bones back in place is only half of the solution.
We design a nutritional supplement program the body can handle, actually absorb, providing nutrients, targeting the problem area. Between Nuka and nutrition, we will have you on the road to a faster and more permanent recovery. Look us up on the web at drwortman.com or call 952-303-9124. Let us help you feel better faster. Wellspring Spinal Care at 952-303-9124. Again, that's 952-303-9124. Or on the web at drortman.com.
Is negative content or comments on the web affecting your personal or professional reputation? Unfavorable comments, embarrassing pictures, videos, legal documents, and bad tweets can ruin your personal life, your career, or your business. It happens a lot, and it's just not fair. But what can you do? Reputation.com can protect your good name. Get a free consultation now at 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Call right now for a free expert reputation analysis. It's easy to squash the unfair attacks with our patented system, and the analysis is absolutely free. Make the best things about you jump out in searches. Protect your personal and professional reputation, your business, and your income. Get your free reputation analysis from Reputation.com right now. Call 800-831-0771. 800-831-0771. 800-831-0771.
In the U.S. alone, a home invasion occurs every 13 seconds. On top of that, the average response time for 911 is over 15 minutes. That just won't cut it. Don't allow yourself or the important people in your life to be victims. When seconds matter, don't be caught stumbling for your firearm. Get the protection you deserve. Get yourself a hidden holster from hiddenholster.com. It's the original hidden holster. The hidden holster is quick, easy, and convenient. It's versatile enough for the home, workplace, or virtually anywhere else you might need it. Have peace of mind with your firearm close by at all times. Go to hiddenholster.com. That's hiddenholster.com. If you own a firearm, you need a hidden holster. Your protection matters, and self-defense is the best defense. Go to hiddenholster.com. That's hiddenholster.com. The original hidden holster.
Class, this is an absolutely riveting broadcast.
Scientific American magazine carried the story on economics, September 1980, and about 200 pages back in the book was an article by Wesley W. Leontief, the father of the silent weapons system. And it went on for 14 pages, and it covered all the mathematical concepts that were in the book Silent Weapons for Quiet War, proved that there was such a computer, admitted it at that time, as this article had been printed in September 1980, there were 60 nations, I think it was, on the computing system. Each one had their own economics computer system, and they were all plugged together in a gigantic computing system to try to control the economy of the world. And there were two brain lobes for this thing. One was located in Brussels, Belgium. It was called the Beast, and the other one was located in Iron Mountain, New York, which is the subject matter of the book, A Report from Iron Mountain. And so that this was an ongoing project. It had been financed in the beginning by Rockefeller, $100,000 to the Harvard University economics project, Wesley Leontief's project. And a guy developed the method of doing the mathematics about a year later, and then the transistor was invented. And that made it possible for these computers to be built with high reliability. They wouldn't have vacuum. They were all built with vacuum tubes before that, hot vacuum tubes. And they had to keep a man running up and down the aisles of the computer system, continuously testing tubes and taking care of the failures of the system. So they had their problems. But once the transistor was invented, they came to a point where they didn't have to worry about component failure on the amplifiers anymore. And things got micro-miniature, then came in the solid state the integrated circuit. And so the whole thing, and then finally these later things, the memory systems that we have now, where they memorized a billion bits on a chip of crystal. And I think what they say is that the thing is wired with X-ray, an X-ray laser, something of that sort. So there's all of these improvements that have happened, but it all boils down to one thing, and that's handling tremendous amounts of data. In 1940, they could handle a 45 by 45 matrix, which meant that you have 45 industries, each with $1 that sends it into the matrix, and that $45 worth of money is spread over the 45 industries going out. So it's an input-output analysis system. And when it's closed loop, it'll stabilize if it's given enough time, and it'll tell you if you have certain substances that are in the economy, that it will stabilize and tell you what the other substances are or what they have to be. And so the September 18 magazine, and this is actually in the Scientific American, it says that what they would do is they would make a template of how they wanted the world to be, plug it into the computer, reverse the equations, and calculate backwards with the known values that we have here. And it would tell you how to adjust the prices of any commodity you wanted to in order to create that type of an economy downstream several years away. That's how fantastic this is. They use the same types of computer systems for the defense network. They use them for weather prediction and on. Design of aircraft. It's a very standard system called matrices. And the word matrix is developed from that. And so, anyway, matrix is a singular, matrices is the plural word. So they've developed this method of computing where they can take any information that you give them and they can process it and discover the next economic step. Well, they had a problem. The household industry couldn't be defined like the other industries. So in order to define the variables in the computer system for the household industry, they had to create a series of economic shocks. And one of those shocks was the garbage shock, changing the prices of gasoline and sugar and other commodities, meat, things that were important in our economy. They would shock the value of that thing, and then they'd stand back, and for a couple of weeks they would monitor the shock in the computer system to determine that the coefficients they couldn't otherwise discover about the household industry. And so they were able to finally, by statistical methods and shocking the economy, they were able to close some of the gaps in their information on a machine by calculating.
Hartford, we're out of time. Let's do this again and again and again. Thanks so much for being with us, Hartford Van Dyke.
Hey, Berkey Guy here. Are you still drinking unfiltered tap water? Does your water contain chlorine or fluoride? Will you have drinkable water in an emergency? The Berkey Guy is here to help you remove these and other potential contaminants from your water, thus helping you drink clean, purified water. We offer Berkey water purification systems at the lowest available prices online. Don't go another moment without Berkey system. Over the last 10 years, we've helped thousands drink clean, purified water. Join them by visiting goberkey.com or call me, the Berkey Guy, at 877-886-3653. That's 877-886-3653.
Silver has always been nature's very own antibiotic, and only one system allows you to produce an endless supply of nano-sized silver solutions right from the convenience of your home. Silver Lungs. With the addition of our unique lung delivery system, respiratory infections are targeted directly, where traditional oral administration simply cannot reach. This pioneering method also preserves the original particle sizes and delivers your silver solution directly into the bloodstream. See the Silver Lungs generator and lung delivery system at silverlungs.com. That's silverlungs.com.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows, pause and rewind live TV, even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.